Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we're going to be checking out a track from an act named Relentless Pursuit titled Flamboyant Intoxication. And if we switch over to here, we have the track on YouTube. We're going to be listening through this track from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. What do we got in store for us today? Oh, cool, we got some drums, I like that. Oh, 8 strings. Nice. I see what we're going for here. Yeah, I'm gonna probably be making some comments on the production at the end, but I appreciate the kind of aesthetic we're going for with these guitars, bass, drums, and vocals. I'm confused, and I'm being genuine here. That's an SM7B, right? And I'm being genuine here. That's the I have an SM7B here. The thicker side is the one that you sing through. From what I can tell there, I think we're singing into the back of it. I'm not sure though. I mean, it sounds like the vocals have been recorded well. I like the tone of the growlies and stuff. I like the transition into the clean guitars here. I can see what we're doing with the guitar and the bass and the drums and the zeros, everything like that. It's cool. I think would have been really cool, and this is just some constructive criticism for next time, on the master chain. Finding a way to put a bit of reverb on that master chain so that it sounds like everything was sort of recorded in the same room. Like, even if you're using like plugins to like record the guitars or DI them or something like that. You know, just like, because if you can get that same sort of room sound for all the instruments, it'll help them sort of come together a little bit better in the mix. Because the drums kind of sound like they were recorded in a separate room to the guitar and bass and stuff, so. Again, these clean vocals are pretty. Yeah, there's some really, I like the hooks that are going on here. I have a proposition for Relentless Pursuit. I would like a go at mixing and mastering this track. I think that there's been a good attempt made. I'm wondering if there are some improvements that can be made potentially before this gets released to a wider audience. Just as I can hear these clean melodies in the vocals, and they sound dope. And I like the fact that we're using sub drops and stuff like that. I understand the purpose for using the sub drops. I think that there's a lot of potential here. I just want to make sure that I want to see if I can sort of maybe glue it together a little bit better. You know what I mean? With all due respect, that's all. I see your face, I'm going home. I like that line there. The vocals are a little bit quiet in the mix. The drums are quite present there. There's some cool ideas here with the sliding of the melodies and the riffs on those root notes. I'm just wondering if we could also just get a little bit more definition for those guitar parts. Yeah, okay, this is an interesting experience. The synth pads are a nice bit of extra development. Because I can tell the guitars have been double tracked, and that's fantastic. You know, there's a nice width to those guitars, and I can tell that there's been a little bit of filtering just to get them set a little bit better with the drums. And it was nice to have those piano parts and synth parts come along over the time. Yeah, okay. This by itself is a fascinating musical theme. Vocals, piano, drum loop production, audio production, guitars, bass, music and lyrics by Matthew Conrad, aka Relentless Pursuit. Yeah, I mean, I have to hand it to Matthew. This is a really good effort. Even doing one of these things properly or competently is really tough. And again, I think that there's a lot of promise in a track like this, and I think that he's got the right idea with the way he's structuring, arranging, and writing these different musical concepts. I love the variation on the drums and stuff. We'll get into the conclusion in a moment, though. So I don't mean any offense. I'm trying to be constructive with this feedback. And the offer to do a remix and master of this stands. Seriously, like, get in touch if you want me to at least have a go with it. And if you prefer your own version, then obviously that's fine. No skin off my back, you know what I mean? I'd probably be able to get it done within like a day or two. Yeah. Go within 48 hours, so yeah. Oh, right. And you wouldn't need to pay for it. Like, I just because I think that I like this kind of music, so there wouldn't be any payment involved for this work. I legitimately just want to see if what I can do with the stems of what you've recorded here. But yeah, this is my conclusion for this track from Relentless Pursuit, titled Flamboyant Intoxication. What do I think this song is about? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what this track is about. I'm sorry. I guess I got distracted by the things that were more apparent. I don't know, like, I heard parts like, I need you or something along those lines. I need you back in my life or something like that. Maybe the intoxication is being codependent on someone and needing them regardless of what occurs. Or maybe not necessarily being codependent, but just that need for that person to be there just for a sense of stability. I'm not sure. That's like, look at you, I'm coming home or something like that. Or, yeah, I think that some person, the song is about finding a sense of belonging within another person and missing that they're not there. Again, that story, if that is even close to what it actually is, the context for the tale is solid. It's an interesting thing to write a song about. I'm sure a lot of people will be able to appreciate that. The singing, okay. I'm going to give props to Relentless Pursuit. I think that the vocals individually, the ideas and concepts behind them were great. With all due respect, when mic technique is important. I'm unsure of whether we recorded through the right part of that mic, just because it might not be an SM7B. It might be another one. That mic looked like an SM7B though, and the SM7B, yeah, I don't think that was the right side of it. It's okay. We might have just been like, no, we're doing this for a video, so it doesn't really matter, and that's fine. It sounded like we recorded through the right side of the microphone anyways. The growling was fantastic. He's got great technique there. It fits well within the genre. I've listened to a fair bit of metal over my time, and I can understand the tone and texture, and I still consider it to be musical. The clean parts as well were great. I think if they were a little bit more present in the mix, and if things were a little bit more balanced, they'd have a home there. I can see what we're trying to do with it, and I've got a lot of love for it, genuinely. I see potential in it, which is why it kind of breaks my heart a little bit in these situations, because often I come across tracks that have, like the concept makes sense. It's just getting everything done, and especially when you're doing everything on your own. As I know, it's taken me a decade to get to the point where I'm semi-happy with it, and I haven't even started doing vocal lessons here. I can relate heavily to the situation that Matthew's in. But it's you know, the vocals were a good effort. The structure of the track and there are different parts and stages to this. There might have been a hook section with those clean vocals, but we experimented with like blast beat parts and and it's sort of synth, sort of stringy parts, and there was a lot of range with the different concepts there. In terms of the musicality of the actual themes and harmonies and melodies present, there was nothing inherently broken about it. I think they were tonally sound. It makes sense for the genre type of music that we're trying to make here. I also enjoyed what was going on with the actual performance of it. Individually, I liked the sound of the drums and what they were playing, and the guitars when I could sort of discern it, and the bass, you know, being there as well, and the piano and key parts and synth parts. Each of them sounded like they would work together, you know, and they did for the most part. And there wasn't really a note out of place, and even if there was, I kind of prefer there to be a little bit of a rough edge with this kind of genre of music. If metal becomes too polished, it almost sounds like it's being sterilized and muted, you know, and that's not what we want. We already have enough of that stuff out there that's kind of boring because it's quote unquote perfect. The production, recording, mixing, mastering, I've already sort of put my thoughts forward on this. There were some parts which I thought had great clarity, like the drum parts and some of the vocal bits and the piano and synth parts, but I think that we could there's room for improvement. And that's why I offered to have a go at remixing and remastering it. You know, it's obviously up to Relentless Pursuit if they want to go through with that. It's totally up to them. No skin off my back if they decline, but I just think it's just the gluing of the instruments, some of the EQing, filtering potentially could be improved. I want to make sure how those guitars are sounding together. It was nice and loud, although there was almost like there was a bit of distortion in either the mix on individual stems or master chain, because of, like, those sub drops went kind of sounded like we might have been sort of boosting it a little bit past the point of digital distortion, and that is a shame. But yeah, that's basically my review of this track. I hope I haven't stood on any toes. I mean it with all due respect. I enjoyed a fair bit of this track, and I can appreciate the effort put behind the rest, even if there's some stuff we could do to kind of improve upon it. But I mean, if you enjoyed this track, please do go show Relentless Pursuit some love via the various social medias and the YouTube page. Stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as either help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.